So, did you see the editorial in the Wall Street Journal about Dr. Jill Biden? We're going to talk about it. I'm Elizabeth Ann Atkins. Welcome to Boss Up Goddess, where I go solo and interview trailblazing women who share wisdom to help you live bigger, better, and bolder. Well, today is all about writing women into our power in the world. Okay, when I read this editorial, I was just like, is this real? I was stunned that this was published and written, but there's a bigger message here. I just want to share, just in case you didn't see it. The headline in the Wall Street Journal, one of the most respected publications on the planet, says, "Is there a doctor in the White House? Not if you need an MD." And then the subtitle is, "Jill Biden should think about dropping the honorific," meaning doctor, "which feels fraudulent, even comic." The article by Joseph Epstein goes on to say, "Madam First Lady, Mrs. Biden, Jill, kiddo, a bit of advice on what may seem like a small, but I think is a not unimportant matter. Any chance you might drop the doctor before your name? Dr. Jill Biden sounds and feels fraudulent, not to say a touch comic. Your degree is, I believe, an EDD, like a Doctor of Education, earned at the University of Delaware through a dissertation with the unpromising title, quote, Student Retention at the Community College Level, Meeting Students' Needs, unquote. A wise man once said that no one should call himself doctor unless he has delivered a child. Think about it, Dr. Jill, and forthwith drop the doc." So this is about the First Lady of the United States of America coming into the White House in January with President-elect Joe Biden. She has a doctorate. That means she is entitled to be addressed as Dr. Jill Biden. I know many people, women included, who have doctorates of education, and they are doctor to me. You know, that Janet Jackson song comes to mind. I don't even have to say it. But this is really insulting and disrespectful, but what it does is point to the perspective of a patriarchal society and how women are viewed through a very condescending lens at times. And so as a woman writer, as CEO of Two Sisters Writing and Publishing, as a book coach, I am on a mission to help women tell our stories, tell her story. If you look at the word history, it's HIS, like his, and then the rest of it, story. It's his story of what happened. It's time to write her story, our story as women. Catherine and I, my sister and business partner, we grew up as mixed race children. Our mother is Black and Italian. Our father was white, Native American, English, and French. Mixed race, multiracial, interracial family. No role models. We grew up feeling different, loving our family, loving our experience, pioneering new individuality. However, when we became English majors at the University of Michigan, there were no books about us. There were no stories except for the tragic mulatto, which is like the sad person who's too Black to be white and too white to be Black and caught in this terrible place in between. Catherine and I proceeded to earn master's degrees in writing. She went to the University of San Francisco and got her master's in writing. I went to Columbia University and got a master's in journalism, and we proceeded to write ourselves, our own stories into American literature. She wrote 3 novels, the young adult series called the Veronica series, and I have written 35 books. But I started out writing novels about mixed race women to write the triumphant mulatto, the triumphant mixed race woman who's making positive, powerful changes in the world. And now, as a book coach, I'm advocating for you to boss up, goddess, and write your book. My book is called Boss Up, Goddess, Start Living Your Effing Potential. And the show is, of course, Boss Up, Goddess, which is all about having guests and myself share messages that empower you to live fearlessly, fiercely, and get your heart's desires while making a positive and powerful contribution to the world. So this article really set me off by reminding me of all the things that drive me to do what I'm doing. And as an expert with so much experience in writing, my mission is to help you write your story into contemporary literature. Whether you own a business and you want to showcase your expertise and amplify your authority, whether you want to write a memoir about your life to show what you've been through, how you survived, and how you can inspire others, whether you have some kind of how-to book on how to achieve something like open a small business or whatever your area of expertise and passion might be, whether you want to write a novel, whatever your dream is to write your book in your words, it is so powerful to put pen to paper and tell your story, share your expertise. That article and the very condescending tone of it and trying to discredit her educational credentials just amplifies the need right now for every woman to stand up and say, no, I am a doctor. I am a woman. I am an author. I am a this, that, and the other. Shout it loud and proud. The world is changing dramatically. We are about to experience the historic event of the first ever female vice president of the United States, and a woman of color at that. History is happening right now. It's her story. So you need to write yours. I have a 6-month book coaching program. I've been calling it Write the Change, hashtag Write the Change, but it's evolved with my Boss Up Goddess community to be called now Boss Up Goddess, Write Your Book. Because if you're a boss and you are the goddess that you're designed to be in this life, you need a book. You need a book that shares your expertise, your experience, and makes a powerful, positive impact on the world that will last forever. Books last forever. They are your legacy. They are your message. They are your wisdom. And they allow you to be a positive influence on people everywhere. Now, what makes this all the more passionate for me is that women at one time were not allowed to read and write. I used to teach English literature on a college and university level, and I would use the Norton Anthology of Women's Literature, and we spanned hundreds of years of women writers that we studied. And it started with Aphra Behn. She was a poet and playwright in England in the 1600s. And she's one of the first documented women that exist. And back then it was very difficult for women to get published because they weren't even allowed to read and write. So oftentimes they would write under male names or as anonymous. You may have heard of the writer George Eliot. George Eliot was a woman writing under a male name so she could get published. We won't even talk about women of color in the United States during the slave era when it was illegal for enslaved people, to read and write, because so many stories were passed down through oral histories, and only a few, even men, were able to record their stories in books. So a lot of stories have gone untold. In fact, just this week, I interviewed a writer who's one of the winners of our short story contests on my show called Writer Talks. Her name is Babitha Marina Justin. She's in India, and she's working on a project. You can watch the show here on the channel, and I'll put a link in the description box. She's working on a project about the city of Mazuris. And there, it's a very sacred place where she said the mother goddess has dwelled. It's a very sacred and spiritual place. She is writing the histories of women who contributed to this very historic, sacred place. But she said, in all the writings over 2,000 years about this town, this region, not a single woman was written about. So she now today in 2020, going into 2021, is documenting them, giving voice to them, showcasing their contribution to creating this beautiful spiritual place. So it's our responsibility as women now who have so much freedom and so much power to write our stories, to amplify our authority, to share our ideas, and to showcase our wisdom, because it will help people everywhere. And so this article set me off in such a direction because it made me realize that we do have so much power. Dr. Jill Biden does have the power to call herself doctor because she earned her doctorate. So we all need to boss up and express ourselves verbally and through the written word in books. The time is now to make it happen. The coronavirus pandemic shows that life is very unpredictable. There is a horrific pandemic raging right now. Many women are no longer here to write their book that maybe they were dreaming about. They took their book to the grave. It's very important to write your book now. Another thing that helps in writing your book is it's a mirror into yourself. When I wrote my memoir, let me see, I've got a whole bunch of books here I wanted to show, but when I wrote my memoir, see how thick it is? It's 400 some pages. It forced me to review my life. So when you write your life story, it's an exercise in reviewing from where you've come, where you are, and from there, it enables you to look forward and say, okay, my life started here, I'm here, and I have this much more time, which is nobody knows how much time that's going to be. What am I going to do? What do I want to do? What's my dream? What's my passion? What's my life purpose between here and here? If you look back and you're unpleased with what you've done, you feel like you haven't done enough, you've been playing small, staying stuck, scared, now's the time to boss up. Step forward fearlessly and fiercely into the future and make it happen. And when you write a book, you create a blueprint for that to occur. You literally script your future after having reviewed your past, learning your strengths and weaknesses, reviewing your accomplishments, and looking at what deficits exist. What have I not done? Why am I here? So writing a book isn't just telling a story, sharing your expertise, oh, how to do this. It's a life review while you're still here. Such a powerful exercise. Now, let me tell you, when I did mine and I thought about, realized how much time I had spent wasted on certain things, like my struggles with food, fat, and body image, I was furious at myself, furious that I had wasted all that time and energy. So you know what I did? I spent an afternoon forgiving myself, releasing and healing all of that and leaving it in the past. And I have such a healthy lifestyle, positive perception of my body, healthy eating, exercise, left all that in the past because it was holding me back. I have a mission, and my mission is to boss up as the goddess that the divine has told me that I am, as a leader, as a teacher. And my teaching expertise is all about writing, wellness, and women's empowerment. That's what my whole goddess platform is. Now, goddess is not about being better than anybody or being a diva. Goddess is about being powerful, knowing your purpose, and executing that divine life mission to help yourself, your family, your community, and people everywhere. That's what goddess is. And if you haven't seen my other shows, I'm going to tell you right now, I was having a horrific moment undergoing verbal abuse many years ago. I went to the gym because that's my outlet. I was on the Stairmaster, well, the stair machine, and I was pumping and huffing and puffing, and the horrible words were going in one side of my head and like bouncing all around, and it was just overwhelming and terrible. And I just kept exercising to burn off the anger. And I finally said, all these words were in my head. It was so insulting. I said, no, I'm a queen. The words were still there. I said, no, I'm a queen. And suddenly I heard, you are a goddess. And it was this voice from within. It was a different voice. And it said, you are a goddess. And at the same time, this image came to mind of a silver box inside my head. And all the horrible words were going in one side and transforming and coming out this side as peace and power. So that was the divine showing me that we have the power in the moment to transform our thoughts from negative and terrible into peace and power. All we have to do is call on that power that we all have within. I believe it's divine power from God, the universe, the cosmos, creator, source, angels. It's there, that energy is there. So the goddess concept is very spiritual, and it's all about calling upon the power within ourselves and from the divine that we have. And so from that moment forward, the way I coped with stress is to declare a mantra. I am goddess. I have the power. I actually said, I have the effing power. Declare that in the moment of stress, and it transforms your thinking. Very powerful. So I just want to share with you where the goddess concept came from. And I've been working on the book for many, many years. And it's coming out in early 2021. And now my book coaching program that was called Write the Change, based on the Mahatma Gandhi quote, be the change you wish to see in the world, evolved into write the change. If you're being the change, you need to write it and share it with people everywhere. And that has evolved into my Boss Up Goddess and Write Your Book program. So this program in particular is for women who have a message, a story, who want to write a book, who have that calling, but feel overwhelmed, feel confused, maybe intimidated by the process, don't know where to start, don't know how to schedule the time or find the structure or focus your topic or know who your audience is. This book coaching program is for you. And you can see it's at twosisterswriting.com. You can learn more about it. And I'll put some information here in the show notes or description box so you can read about it and click to learn more. I'm also having 2 webinars. One is coming up on Thursday. One is coming up on Tuesday at 2 o'clock, December 15th, this Tuesday, 2 o'clock, December 15th. And the next one is coming up Monday, December 21st at 5 o'clock p.m. Those are both Eastern times. So you can come to my free webinar and learn more about how to boss up Goddess and write your book at 2 o'clock on Tuesday, December 15th, or 5 o'clock, Monday, December 21st. You can also click on twosisterswriting.com and go to the store item and learn more about the program there as well. So super excited to share this powerful purpose and passion for helping women like you write your book. And I hope that the Wall Street Journal editorial that has inspired a firestorm of criticism on Twitter and elsewhere, and an editorial by a woman who said Dr. Jill Biden deserves to keep the title doctor. That was in today's paper in the Wall Street Journal. So I'm really glad that they published that counter column to express what so many women are thinking and saying right now. Now, I'm here to answer your questions about writing, because writing is all about the power of the pen. The pen is mightier than the sword. If you have a vision of how our world should be, or about how your particular part of the world should evolve as everything undergoes such radical change right now, then it's time to write your book about it. Because when you write your book, there's many positive and powerful things that happen. First of all, as I said, it memorializes your words, your way forever. So your family and future generations and people everywhere can benefit from your genius ideas, your experience, your wisdom, your advice, your humor, your cook. It can be about anything. It can be about how you overcame cancer and cured yourself with maybe a plant-based diet. It can be about how you researched your family's history back to hundreds of years ago. It could be about your personal quest to reinvent yourself in many ways. It can be about how you opened a small business that evolved into $1 million empire. It can be about so many things. Just write it down, because once you're gone, no one can write your story the way you can in your way. So own that. We own our titles, we own our stories, and I believe it's our obligation to share them, our obligation to preserve them. Even if you don't publish it, it's something that your family can have to pass down generation after generation. Because again, once grandmothers are gone and great-grandmothers are gone, and they were the keepers of the oral histories, those stories went with them. And we can't tell them as well as they do, because they remember all the details. So please consider writing your story. Journaling is a huge part of that. So if you want to get started right now and you're just riled up, just start writing your ideas in a journal. Just jot down anything that comes to mind, all the ideas that have been roiling in your mind for so long. Just start. I love, love, love helping people in general, but women especially, write their books as a coach. This week we have our 6th final session of my 6-month book coaching program that's called Write the Change. And out of that program, Dr. Elaine Mackes has written and we published her book. It's on Amazon now. She applied everything I taught in the program about how to write, publish, and promote a book, and here she is, a published author, just this year. It's amazing, and I'm so honored to serve as the guide on the journey of writing a book that can be very confusing. So, writing is an act of power. Writing is an act of privilege, because there was a time when women were not allowed to write and read. I strongly suggest that you start writing your story for so many reasons, because it's going to help you and it's going to help people everywhere. In addition, if you own a company, small business, or a big business, and you write a book, it can do multiple things to amplify your influence. Number one is you can get paid speaking engagements. You can earn additional streams of income through book sales. You can launch an online course and make your book part of the curriculum that's required reading. You can donate books to your favorite charity so that people can read your book and get the knowledge and wisdom that they might need to lift up and out of their circumstances, perhaps if that's your story. There are so many tremendously beneficial things you can do with a book. So I hope you get a chance to check out that editorial, because it was really a reminder of some of the patriarchal lenses through which women are perceived today. And I hope you get a chance to really process that information and write something about it, speak about it, and embrace and celebrate your titles, your accomplishments. And one really powerful way to do that is to write a book. I believe it's time to boss up, goddess, and write your book. And I would love to be the person who helps you do that. I'm Elizabeth Ann Adkins. Our company is Two Sisters Writing and Publishing. We just published our 27th book in nearly 5 years in business. We'll be celebrating in February. My sister Catherine and I love writing. We love reading and we love teaching and giving voice to people who beforehand didn't have the platform to amplify their messages for all to hear. So please join us on this quest. Please allow me to be your guide on the journey of writing a book if you so desire. If you're hearing the calling, I can help you answer it. Writing is power. Writing is fun. Writing a book fills you with such a tremendous sense of accomplishment. It's just something you can't put words around or a dollar amount to. It's something that's all yours. It's something that you create from an idea in your head to a physical thing for all the world to enjoy. This is one of my books. I wrote it with Billy D. Williams, the actor. This is one of my novels, Dark Secret. It's a steamy women's thriller. And this, Husbands Incorporated, is one of my novels. It's about a female-dominated empire where men are trained to become the perfect husbands for 1 year, and women have the power and the pleasure, and it's very innovative. And I got the idea, I started writing it, and boom, here's the book. I want you to be able to say that. So please visit twosisterswriting.com. You can come to my free webinars and ask me some questions if you have any and learn more about how I can help you boss up, goddess, and write your book. I'm Elizabeth Ann Adkins. I help you learn how to live bigger, better, and bolder when I go solo every night and interview trailblazing women who share their wisdom to help us all. If you're getting value out of this program, please do like, share, subscribe, comment, and click the notification bell so you'll know every time I go live or upload a new video. Meanwhile, remember, you have the power. I'll see you next time.